I know some of you have been with us for a shorter period of time, so it's great to see you and to be here to help you. I love this class. I was actually working the year before I started here, back in 2012. I spent about a year and a half really, coaching and training Keller Williams agents in different market centers in the tri-state area. And one of the things I was hired to do was teach Ignite. And so it's something that I love to teach, and you're gonna have a great experience over the next several weeks. The schedule for Ignite has gone out. If you have questions about it, let us know, but it's Mondays and Thursdays?
Wednesdays.
Oh, sorry, Mondays and Wednesdays from 11 a.m., sorry, 11 a.m. to 12:30, and power hours 10 a.m. before that, right? Okay, great. So today we're going to talk about session 1, which is Spark Your Career. And I'm going to invite you to participate, take notes, ask me questions. Those of you who are on Zoom, good morning again. I see a lot of notes in the chat. Erin is facilitating with me, so she is going to be monitoring the chat. And I'll make sure that you feel just as included. So if you have questions or any comments along the way, the most effective way would be for you to use the chat, and then Erin periodically will let me know that you're there. So are we ready to start? Okay, so Ignite is a really foundational course that Keller Williams offers, and I think that this course is applicable to any agent on any level. It's especially important for any of you who are just getting started in the business, because it is going to give you the foundation and the perspective for success. And especially if you're looking to level up to whatever your next goal is. So how many of you, as we look at coming into the fourth quarter of 2022, are thinking about 2023 already, and some thoughts around what your goals are going to be, right? Are you ready to level up and play a bigger game? Mm-hmm. Tell me yes if you're on Zoom. So this is important because this is going to give you the foundation, but really the strategy. And if you're taking notes, I would write this down. Strategy is how I win the game. Because I'll give you a quick analogy. If Zoe and I were to sit down together and play Monopoly, and she came in with the thought, this is going to be a great way for me to spend a few hours and have some fun with Anna, and I come into the game with the intention to win, and that I'm going to win the game at all costs, do you think she and I might play a little differently? Mm-hmm. So I have to ask you, are you approaching this real estate career with the intention to win and to win big? Or are you just trying to do some business and make some money and see what happens, right? So either way is fine, as long as your intention matches your energy, right? Like, you can't come into this business. I worked with someone years ago, because I'm old. And they had said to me, your work has to equal your wants, right? So write that down, because we can want a lot of things. We can want freedom, we can want a certain income level, we can want a certain home, we can want a certain car, lifestyle, vacation, whatever it might be. But your work has to equal your want. So you have to be willing to, have the right strategy, and more importantly, do the right activities. Because it's also true that you could spend 8 or 10 hours a day doing things, right, and being busy. But is it about being busy, or is it about being productive? What's the difference between being productive or being busy? Because you can feel very busy. How do you define production? Go ahead, Danielle.
Setting small goals and achieving them.
Yeah, productive means that you have a goal in mind and the activities line up to get you there. That's it. That's how you know you're being productive. If you're doing anything else, you're just spending some time, right? So if anyone's having an aha yet, let me know. Erin, anything in the chat I need to know about?
Not yet.
Okay.
Don't mistake movement for achievement.
Yes, that relates to the bold law. Don't mistake movement for achievement, Zoe just said. That's so true. Just a couple of more housekeeping things. I'm available if you have any questions after, and a lot of your instructors that you're gonna have here over the next several weeks into, I think, early November, this wraps up, all have different talents, so we're all here to help you. There's also a lot of resources available to you, again, through Keller Williams. As you saw when you went into Connect, there's other course material you can download, but there's more resources that are related to Ignite that you may want to check out, right? And then also lots of videos and different educational resources in KW in general. Okay, so are we ready to get into this?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's do it. So Erin, we're going to start the first slide. I think you have to go back. One more. One more. There we go. Let's just stay there for 1 second. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through the content in this participation guide, and I wanna also instill some habits or some mindset around habits as we're talking about launching your real estate career, relaunching it, because that's what's so exciting about Ignite. No matter how long you've been in this business, anytime we can light the match and create a spark, it's going to move you forward, right? So if you're newer in the business, as I said a minute ago, it's going to give you the foundation and the perspectives on their activities. And even if you've been in this business for 100 years, there's an opportunity for you to kind of recharge, reignite, and take it to another level. Okay, Erin. So here's basically the 4 key objectives of the course. So again, I know it's a big commitment of time. We have this running for the next, I think, 7 weeks, and you're going to, or 6 weeks, and you're going to, be, you're going to be able to take these classes twice a week. If you miss some, I believe we're recording them, so you can always go back and watch them. Make it a priority, and I applaud you for already being committed to being here. Stick with it, because here are the 4 areas you're going to be able to really dive into. How to become a real estate expert in your field, how to focus on the right lead generation plan, how to then follow up, and then all the components of the transaction. So sessions 1 through 4 are going to focus on the real estate expert and how you can become the real estate expert of choice, right? Because there's a lot of competition out there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
What makes someone want to do business with you? You're going to help, you're going to create that definition, that value proposition over the next couple sessions. And then I believe on session 5, we're going to move into lead generation. And then on session 10, we're going to talk about lead follow-up. And then sessions 14 through 20. Oh, here we go. Here's the breakdown, guys. You're going to be able to work through the components of the transaction. So as you can see on this slide, the first 4 sessions are a lot about defining who you are, creating that value proposition, understanding the market, understanding what are the top 20% activities in your job, really. And then as we move into lead generation, you're going to see how you can create the right plan, how to understand the value of growing a database, how to capture leads with open houses and social media, and capturing even more leads in other ways. The key here, your number 1 job, if it's in order to be a successful real estate agent, is always going to be lead generation, right? That should be taking up a bulk of your day, because there is 2 perspectives. There's working in the business, and then there's working on the business. So all the activities you're seeing here at the end, sessions 14 through 20, that's working in the business. What you see here in lead generation and lead follow-up, sessions 5 through 13, that's working on it. Now, in terms of the content of the whole course, do you see how much more content there is when it comes to working on your business versus in it? So that should be an aha for some of you already. There's way more for you to look at and to spend time on and be focused on that's growing your business than just handling the business you've already got. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, so we're going to talk about your value proposition. We're going to talk about this lead generation system and making it very robust. as well as that lead follow-up. But today, we're gonna begin with being the real estate expert of choice. And that's part of what we're gonna do in today's agenda. So Ignite is gonna instill, I think, for all of you, a different way of thinking. When you change your thinking, you can change your world. So it's all about having the right mindset that will program you for success. A mindset that will be without doubt to create negative thoughts for you. Now, is it possible for you to remove all doubt from your mindset at all times? Probably not. I want to normalize that for you. We're human, right? But the key is we can't let it keep us stuck there for long. Okay, so if you have the right mindset and you're focused on the right habits, you can minimize how much negativity is taking space in your head. Because we don't want that, we don't want to give that a lot of space. So we're going to go into some of my favorite material that I love teaching Ignite, but specifically I love teaching the 6 personal perspectives. Who's sat through any of that before? Okay, so do you mind a refresher? Say no, because it's good for you. It's like a
No, I love
vitamin.
it every time.
Why do you love it? How many times have you heard the 6 personal perspectives, Danielle?
I think I've seen you deliver it at least 4 times.
Oh,
that I can
okay.
remember.
Yeah, I like teaching it.
You do, and
Now,
and I always walk away with something different because
Yeah.
I'm always in a different place in my business and in my life. So
yes, well said. It will stick with you differently, different times you hear it. I know Christina's heard it several times. How about on Zoom? Have any of you sat through the 6 personal perspectives before? Yeah, no, okay, so we have some new people. All right, good. Oh, good. Well, get your pens ready. Oh, great. Okay. So let me talk to you a little bit about the 6 personal perspectives. These were created by Gary Keller. There's a couple different stories around them, but what I believe to be true is that he wrote this for his son first and then really built it out into a course. And so we're going to go through the 6 personal perspectives. Gary was inspired by the Habits of Highly Successful People that I believe is Stephen Covey. So he kind of took a lot of those principles and put them together in the 6 personal perspectives. And this is going to help you to really think differently. And if I were to ask you what sets successful people apart from the rest, what would you say?
Mindset.
Yes, 100%. That's it. That's the, thank you. That's the answer. This is a great quote from Gary, from the Millionaire Real Estate Investor. Anyone can do it. Not everyone will you? Because what we all have available to us is a choice. And so first you make the choice, and then the choice makes you. Because what you choose to spend your time on will determine your success in this business. The people who are selling more, earning more, what do they have that they're doing that's different from the rest? How they spend their time. They're not, a lot of times, they're not even working any harder or longer days. Most cases, they're working shorter days. It's because they're so laser focused with how they use their time. And so that's where we're going to go today. I want to help you understand where you should put some time and energy. And these 6 personal perspectives is going to be the first part of you getting that right mindset. All right, Erin, let's go on to the next slide. So here are the 6 personal perspectives that we're going to go through one by one, and we'll be able to unpack them all. But just to run through them quickly, the first one will be commit to self-mastery. The second one is the 80-20 principle. Number 3 is moving from E to P. I'll explain what that means. Number 4, make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. Number 5, remove your limiting beliefs. And number 6, be accountable. So as I said, this is really how successful people approach life and career, and really what I think differentiates them from the rest. And it's all about your approach to life, your approach to problems, your approach to challenges, you know, and again, how you're spending a lot of your time. So by embracing these 6 perspectives, I really do believe you will achieve success at a higher level, regardless of whatever it is, personal relationships, your career, anything that you choose to do. And as I said, we're gonna go through and explore each one at a time. So let's start with the first one. Go to the next slide. Okay, so the first one is commit to self-mastery. So we can open the mics up on Zoom. We can hear from you guys. I want to make this as interactive as possible so you guys can feel connected to the content and to me too. I want you to have a good experience here. So when you think about this term, commit to self-mastery, I know there's some bullet points here and that may give you some clues, but just in your own words, what do you think this is really talking about?
Maybe commit to what you're good at.
Mhm.
Self-mastery.
Do your best.
Commit to yourself, commit to what you're good at, I heard, and on Zoom, what am I hearing?
Do your best. Reach out to your best.
Be
Any
fast,
respect.
okay. Good,
Self-awareness.
self-awareness. Understand yourself, okay, good. So let's unpack it a little bit, right? So let's start with mastery. When you hear that someone's a master of something, what does that tell you?
Really good at it.
They're really good at it. They're what we, would call a master, right?
That's what they do, yeah.
Like the greatest analogy I could give you is probably martial arts, right?
Mhm.
If you hear someone's a master in martial arts, they probably have a
Black belt.
black belt,
Mhm.
right? So you get it, right? They're at the top of their field. And would that indicate that they put some time on this?
Yes.
Yeah, but more importantly, could be lots of hours, right? There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers. That's my girl.
Mhm.
And what do they say in the book? How many hours does it take? 10,000 hours in order to become an expert at something.
Wow.
Okay, so just understanding the commitment to that, right? So yes, sometimes it is about putting the time on the task. 10,000 hours in order to become an expert. So if you are a master, you put time in, right? You're practicing, you're developing the craft. So in this term here for the first personal perspective, who's the subject or what's the subject? What are we becoming a master of? Ourselves. So everything that you said out loud before is true. In order for us to master ourselves, we have to have self-awareness. And we have to know what our goals are. And you have to know what your goals are in every area of your life. Not just your real estate business, right? So just a side note, right, there is a great exercise, and if any of you would like to work on it, Erin, you can put my email in the chat. You can send me an email and say, please send me the Wheel of Life exercise. And Gary talks about something like the Wheel of Life in his book, The One Thing, when he breaks down the 7 circles, which really is helping us break down the different perspectives of our life, from our career to our financial goals, to our health and wellness, to our relationships, right? So when we say know your goals in every area of your life, not just your business. Because what is the purpose of having a successful business if it's not funding other areas of your life or creating opportunity for you to be at the top of your game in every area of your world or your life? Number 2, part of self-mastery is knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses. As a coach, I always help those people I work with really master their strengths and be aware of their weaknesses and find ways to leverage them. Now, there are times you can really develop a craft, develop a skill, and you may very well up your game in some areas, but when we really get honest with ourselves about a weakness, it's probably a weakness for a reason. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be good at everything. So if you know it, you get to decide how to leverage yourself, right? So if accounting is not your thing, you hire a bookkeeper, that kind of thing. Because that's what leads us into number 3, which is know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. in case you were not sure, Keller Williams is a company that really focuses on education. Right? You see that every day, there's something you can plug into to learn, right? But here's the difference. We don't want you to just learn to learn. We don't want you to just sit in a training room or on Zoom all day and take lots of classes so you have smart notebooks and all these, things rattling in your head. We want you to have the opportunity to use them. Because when you use the knowledge, the skills, in order to reach your goals, that gives you the strategy that we talked about at the beginning, right? So what are your questions or thoughts about self-mastery? Any?
You get
That's
to
really you.
Before you start doing, spending money and chasing leads, and before you start anything, it has to start with you.
Mhm.
Is it completely on yourself? Or can you bring others in?
Tell me more about that question.
Accountability partners, people to help you maybe see where your blinders are.
So that accountability is actually another perspective that we'll talk about in a minute. And that's huge to get us to success, but I love what's your first name?
Danielle.
Danielle just said about, it starts with you though, right? So first it's got to start with the right mindset and the right focus on how you're getting the skills and knowledge. But yes, accountability comes in for sure. I heard somebody on Zoom. Maybe not.
to have a plan of how to reach that self-mastery. How do you do that?
Yeah, so that's the next thing I want to talk to you about, right? Because I can ask everyone, are you committed to self-mastery? Right, and I think that many of us are going to want to raise our hands. Of course I am. All right, great. So then what is your plan? And I think that's what this class is going to help you start to really take a good look at. Because yes, you can want to, grow and you can want to commit to self-mastery, but in order to really do it, you need a plan. So what is your plan? So many of you will be creating your business plan in the next several weeks. I'm teaching business planning in this Market Center live at the end of October, I think, and then also live in New City. It's all on the calendar, and then I'll do a Zoom one also. So you'll have an opportunity to create your business plan and really get clear about your goals. Let me ask you, do you have a personal growth plan? Who's ever done one? What does it look like? So tell us how do you do a personal growth plan?
I'm wondering if it's the same thing, kind of like when you create a morning routine, whether it's you get up, if you're someone who, believe in God or whatever your beliefs may be, just have a moment of gratitude. Do you get up and do that, journaling, kind of going over your goals for the week, things like that. So I always heard about like morning routines.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to master it. So to me, all of this kind of connects to what we're talking about and how important a morning routine is, because it helps you to start your day the right way. And even if chaos happens, you kind of still stay focused.
Yeah, no, morning routine is great. And I think that that's another component to getting into the right mindset, creating the right habits. And I love what you described. There's another good book I can share with you, the Miracle Morning, and the author's name will come to me in a second. So it's basically how you structure your first hour of the day. A lot of what you just described, right? Getting up, having prayer, meditation time, doing a little exercise movement, writing or journaling, those are important. But when I refer to a personal growth plan, it's a little different. Christine, what does your personal growth plan look like?
So it's my business goals for the year and also what my personal goals are. So if I want to take a week off, if I want to take a vacation with my daughter, if I want to go to family reunion, mega camp, any type of networking event, that all goes on the personal growth plan.
Okay. Good, yes. Anybody else want to add to that?
So for me, my personal growth plan is everywhere, it's broken down into 12 months. And I set a goal for 3 things where I want to grow every month. And so one's in my personal life, one's a way I want to grow in business. And then the third one's kind of like you know, if I want to learn a new skill or something and what I'm gonna do that month to accomplish learning that new skill. So something on my growth plan for this year was that I wanted to read more, and I read a book every month this year. So, you know, I added that on there.
Yeah.
And I add the actual book to my growth plan so that I know what, I have a plan, I'm following it. I know what book I'm reading in January, February, and so on. and
Yeah,
forth.
so Christina and Danielle just described this personal growth plan. And basically what you can do is take a piece of paper and create 12 boxes, one for every month of the year. And I recommend that you do this after you've set some goals for yourself, right? Like you have your business goals, maybe like Christine mentioned, she has personal goals, like a vacation or something. And then you work on your personal growth plan, because what I would inspire you to do is look at, so the personal growth plan is what will you do each month, right? Like you heard the ladies explain or describe. Is it reading a certain book? Is it going to a certain class? Is it learning a new skill, right? Whatever you're gonna do each month, the intention is there because it lines up with the goals you set. So I'll give you an example. 3 years ago, when I was moving from the team leader role into this general manager's role, I knew there were some new skill sets I needed for that, right, to level up. So I got intentional about different books I was reading, different classes I was taking. And so, you know, if you want to really be like the master of lead gen, right, that might show up on your personal growth plan. And so it's about getting intentional so that the things you're spending time on move you. They move the needle, they sharpen the tools in your toolbox, and it lines up with the goals you want to accomplish, right? Because here's the question you want to ask yourself before you start doing your personal growth plan. You ready? Write this down. Who do I need to become in order to hit my goals? That make sense? Who do I need to become in order to hit my goals? Because what got you here may not be enough to get you where you want to go. So the personal growth plan is your focus on self-mastery and gives you the opportunity to get intentional about how you spend your time to grow and to learn. Any questions on that? So the subject is yourself, and you want to master you. You want to know your goals. You want to focus on the things that will help you grow. You want to know your strengths and keep getting better and better at it. You want to be ninja-like on your strengths, and you want to find ways to leverage your weaknesses so that you will find that you have the time to have the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. Good? All right, let's go to the second perspective. Jacqueline, do you mind closing the door? All right, commit to the 80-20 principle. Who's heard of this before? Oh, good, several hands, okay. So basically, what this refers to is the idea that 20% of your activities or actions will lead to 80% of your results. So if you're looking to do big things in your real estate business, who's looking to do big things? Then in order to do that, you have to narrow your focus. Narrow your focus. This is probably the most powerful principle, and I'm still working through it. I'm getting closer to mastery. I don't want to say I've mastered it yet, but Erin can tell you, because we work together very closely, and some people that I coach, that I'm constantly, coaching people to look at this, right? Zoe's had that conversation with me this morning. We're talented, we're excited, we're driven, we're assertive, we're aggressive, right? All these things, right? You want to accomplish great things. But here's the thing, if you think that you're going to get to your success by putting your time and energy on a lot of stuff, it's not going to happen. You're going to just wind up throwing a lot of stuff at the wall and nothing's going to really stick. And the less that you focus on, the more you will accomplish. The shorter your to-do list is, the more significant your outcomes will be. So, yeah, I'm not saying there aren't a lot of things that have to get done in your business, but you have to ask yourself where your time and energy needs to be put. That's where the leverage part comes in again. See, this was discovered by an Italian economist, Pareto. Some of you may have heard this. This has been referred to as the Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule, which basically helps us understand there is a predictable imbalance to things in life. And Gary talks about this in the one thing and breaks the news to us that not every activity is created equal. If you nail this, you will be very successful. I have to choose very carefully where I put my time. Because if I allow myself to get distracted, if I allow myself to have, too much of my energy depleted, see, that's the other thing people don't realize about this principle. I've had people say to me, but you don't understand, I have a high capacity for output. I can do all day long, 7 days a week, until you can't. Or until we realize that all the that you're doing and checking off, you're giving about 20% in each of those activities. Imagine if you could choose one of those activities. The one that Gary refers to in the one thing as the one domino, right? The one that if you were to put your time and energy into it would make everything else not important. Imagine the output you would see then. So it's about knowing what your 20% activities are. So as a realtor, what do you think some of your 20% activities are?
Lead generation.
Very good. If you didn't catch it, it's lead gen. It's lead gen, because listen, think about some of the other stuff that you've been focused on lately. If you're not generating enough leads, if you're not taking enough listings and working with enough qualified buyers, the other stuff you're spending your time on will not matter at the end of the day, right? Because if you're not converting business, what are you doing? So if you didn't add someone to your database today, what are you really doing? If you didn't have enough conversations today about real estate and identify leads, what are you doing? Just saying, what are you doing? That's what this 80-20 is about, because again, we can spend a lot of time, and I've been there, my friends. I've had days, more in the past than in the present, but I've had days where I got in my car and I was feeling it, and I was like, oh man, you were so productive today. You were all over the place. You got this done and that done and this done and that done. And then all of a sudden I heard, and I looked over to the side and there was my other self looking at me going, but we didn't get anywhere close to our goals. We're not hitting it. You're running around busy, but we're not making any money. That's the difference. Who's with me? Okay. Sorry, you might have felt like you just went to church because I am preaching a little bit, but that's what I'm here for. So you've got to know what your most dollar producing activities are. Dollar producing activities, that's in your 20%. And before somebody's drunk monkey or alter ego starts saying, well, it's not all about the money. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, why are we here?
It is about the money, because if you're not creating dollar producing activities in what you call your real estate business, then my loves, you're not in business, you're really in a hobby. You with me?
The purpose of the business is to be profitable.
That's right. The purpose of a business is to be profitable, sustainable, solvent, which means it can stand on its own 2 feet, right? It should be able to pay its own bills. Yes, I'm preaching, Larry, because that's what opens the gateway to all your opportunities. You want, put in perspective, you want to live where you want to live. You want to drive the car you want to drive. You want to write the check to church. You want to write the check to a charity. When your best friend calls and says, I need help, you're like, no problem, right? You want to be in that position. You want to also show that you are running a successful business, because that attracts more clients.
And other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and other entrepreneurs talk about that.
Partnerships,
Yeah, they
right?
want to partner with you, right?
Mhm.
So listen, the most dollar producing activity you're going to spend your time on as an agent is lead generation. That is your 20%. You can tell yourself that other things matter. You can tell yourself when the phone rings, you got to run. You can get to talk to this person or go here or go there. But at the end of the day, if you're not spending more time on lead gen, you're not going to take your business to the next level. So the second principle is understanding the 80-20 rule. Who has questions on this? Because you can flip this around in a few ways. So we talked about this in terms of time and activities, but we can also talk about this in terms of your database. How would you apply that principle to your database?
Feeding it.
Growing it and feeding it absolutely every day, right? Think of your database as this ugly, hairy, hungry monster. You gotta feed it. Danielle?
Identifying a sphere within that database
Yes.
and treating those clients as VIP because those 20% of your database are gonna give you 80% of your results.
100%. So how many of you track where your business comes from now, your referrals? Okay, so please make sure you track the source. And listen, I know this sounds very elementary, but I've coached many people who are entrepreneurs and salespeople over the last 30 years who, when I've said that, they're like, oh, track the source. Because when you track the source, you go back and you see now, oh my gosh, I've gotten a lot of business from Danielle. You better take care of Danielle. And I don't mean bribe Danielle. I just mean even a thank you note. Okay, but that's how, and then you also can look at it and say, oh, I felt like Zoe was doing a lot of referral to me. And in the last 6 months, I've got one piece of business from her.
Mhm.
So maybe I need to have a conversation with Zoe. Do you see like you need to do that? You need to track.
Actually, I was just gonna say another perspective on like for your database would be if you spend most of your time optimizing the way you use it, so setting up smart plans and having it automated.
Yes.
If you optimize the way it's being used and you're not just kind of all over the place in it. like I think most of
Optimize the
time.
way you use your database, huge. So just like I said a moment ago, that the 80-20 rule shows us that not all of your activities are created equal. Not all of your contacts are created equal. Not all your leads are equal, right? You've got to get good at identifying, where your top lead sources are, where your top grade is in your database. So I would say the way I would look at this as it relates to my database is that 20% of the people in my database are probably giving me 80% of my business. Now, if you're only doing 4 deals a year, that's a small group, right? So that's why we have to keep expanding it. Zoe.
I was gonna say that when I was in, on a team, we used to label our database A, B, C. So we knew our A people were the people who were likely going to close and bring us money. The B people were, teetering, and then the C people were like, maybes.
Yes, that's great. 100%. Yep. Any other thoughts? Erin, did I miss anything in the chat?
Nope.
Okay.
Just some, so just again, agreement with Larry.
Okay. All right. So who's learning something already? Who's having an aha? Oh, this is good. Erin, you see all the hands up? Invite me back to teach. Yay. All right.
Always welcome.
Okay, I love to teach. So let's go to number 3. The third perspective is one of my favorite perspectives. I've built entire classes around this. And this is the concept of moving from E to P. So I'm going to break this down and help you understand this. We are always moving from E to P. We're always in this paradigm somewhere. And I'm going to start by helping you understand what we mean by E and P. So E relates to the entrepreneurial approach or the natural approach. Another way to look at it. And P is a more purposeful approach, which can become uncomfortable or unnatural too. And so this perspective, again, these 6 perspectives are the perspectives that high achievers have. And so high achievers or top performers recognize and understand how to move from E to P. You get good at understanding and recognizing when you're in that E, when you're in that ceiling of achievement and hitting your head, and when you're breaking through to P. Because we can all, look, at the end of the day, we can all attain a certain level of success by relying on our natural skills and abilities, right? You all have natural skills and abilities that even got you here, right? That's what we mean by the entrepreneurial approach. It's doing what comes naturally. So when you think about what got you here, when you think about, what is in your natural ability, what brought you into real estate, what comes to mind? Like, what are some of your natural skills that brought you into real estate?
Like a people person.
Yeah, I hear that all the time, a people person. What else?
Want to learn, interested in things.
Yeah.
Wanting to run a business.
You had a desire to run a business. How many of you are here because the idea of sitting in a cubicle all day and being told what to do 9 to 5 is like putting a pencil in my eye? Yeah, there's that entrepreneurial spirit, right? The idea of wanting to own a business, you fell in love with, decorating, architecture, houses, you like the idea of working with people. How many of you know that you're a natural problem solver? You like figuring things out, right? So I could go on and on, right? You've got sales experience in your background, right? Like there are just a specific set of natural things that make you a good fit for this business. And for a while, yep, I see you enjoy solving problems, yep. So for a while, you like helping people, Wendy said, yep. So for a while, this serves you. You do very well with this, right? Because you start out entrepreneurially and then you see you grow a business because of it, right? Until what happens?
So you hit that ceiling, and you're like, oh gosh, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah, so you went right to the jugular, but yes, you did. So, okay, so let's put this in perspective. Let's say when we were kids, you got really good at doing cartwheels, right? You got really good at doing cartwheels and flips. And you just had this natural ability. Who's got a kid like that, or you were that kid, right? But if that child never takes gymnastics or never takes, certain training and coaching, yeah, are they going to be the person who gets the gold medal at the Olympics? No. That is moving from E to P. So you might be the kid who's naturally good at some flips and some cartwheels, but unless it becomes more purposeful in the approach, going back to self-mastery too, you may not get to that next level and that next level and that next level where you are now competing on a world stage as an Olympian. Do you see the difference? There's a big gap between the kid who can naturally do some flips and cartwheels in the backyard to the person who's getting a gold medal. Can they become the person who gets the gold medal?
Yeah.
Right. So do you want to be the realtor who's getting the gold medal here in this sport? Say yes. So then you have to learn how to move from E to P, because here's what's happening in the meantime. You're using your natural ability, you're growing your business, you're doing well until you hit the ceiling of achievement right here. And sometimes we can even feel like we bump our head, right? Suddenly things are not flowing as fast and as easy. Suddenly our natural abilities are just not good enough. We're not closing enough deals, we're not converting enough leads. And so when we hit our head on that ceiling, we do get disappointed, right? And so when we get disappointed, our business starts to slide down. But you have that entrepreneurial spirit we talked about. So what do you say to yourself? Oh, no. You put, Anna's Mojo on. That was a shameless plug, I guess. Or Tony Robbins or whoever, right? I do have Monday Morning Mojo every morning at 7:30. I have a Facebook page. You can become a member. I'd love to see you there. But anyway, if it's not me, maybe it's Tony Robbins. Somebody, right? You listen to somebody, you come to a meeting, Zoe's out doing a meeting and she gets you all inspired, or one of your team leaders, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this, right? So you grab it by the bootstraps, you pull yourself back up, you start doing some of the things that come natural to you, and your business might go up a little bit, right? But then maybe it comes back down again because you're relying on those natural abilities only. So now the disappointment turns into other things like resignation when you say, I give up, right? I'm done, right? There must be another way, greener pastures. You say to yourself, you know what? Maybe Kohl's is not so bad. They give a 40% discount. It's not a cubicle. Maybe that's a good thing for me. It's people, right? You get what I'm going? And so you tell yourself, this is not for you. You're not the problem. The industry is the problem. There's too much competition out there anyway. Nobody ever helped me. All the stories, right? And then the next thing you know, you're part of the statistics and you're out of the business.
Yeah.
Because you allowed yourself to get into this vicious cycle, right? If it goes on too long.
We have
What
a
is the
good question in the
next one?
chat.
Which one person, what's that, what is that?
No, I said we have a very good question in the chat from Dara.
Bring it to me.
Yep, what is the natural point at which one person doing lead gen, running as a buyer's agent, database management, all of that becomes too much for one person? How do you get help?
Well, I don't know what the answer is for you personally, because everyone has different goals in a different capacity. But if you're feeling like you're overwhelmed, then that's a sign you need to talk to someone, you need some coaching. Right, and so here's the thing, not to get off topic, but it's about systems. And it's probably about what I'm gonna go into next, which is applying more purpose to things. Because here's the other thing, guys, when you're in here with this yo-yoing and you're relying on your natural ability, it's exhausting too, right? And like I said, you do yo-yo because you tell yourself, no, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna change it up, right? So you start getting, your production increases and then you hit your head on the ceiling again. Because what got you here is not always enough to get you to the next level. So because you're only relying on what comes naturally, you sometimes need the input from other people too. Because you're only using what your ideas are. And listen, you're all creative geniuses, but sometimes our ideas might take us down the wrong path too, right? You're just relying on what you know, and maybe there are some other things you need to learn. So when you want to move out of E and you break this ceiling of achievement, which is what we call getting to the next level, right? You've heard that before, right? I'm gonna take my business to the next level. Well, you're gonna do something different. Write that down. In order to go to the next level, you have to do something different. You have to do something more purposeful. And what do we mean by purposeful? Business plans, strategic plans, personal growth plans, coaching, training, accountability, time management with a calendar, using a 411. If you don't know what that is, ask your team leader or your coach.
Can I repeat that one more time? In order to go to the next level, you have to do something different?
You have to do something different and it has to become purposeful. And so how do we become purposeful? We're getting into coaching, we're having accountability, we're going to training, we're reading different books, we're listening to different podcasts, we're maybe even hanging out with different people. We're implementing models and systems because that helps us to have breakthroughs, right? So the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, that's your blueprint for success. I'm not even gonna ask anyone to raise your hand, but if you have not read it, what are you doing? What are you doing? I found the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. It's right there, the red book that Gary Keller wrote. I found that book 13 years ago before I ever thought I was gonna be in this organization. And when I picked up the book and started going through it, I was like, oh my gosh, this real estate company understands business. Because that's the myth out there, that real estate agents may not be business people. Break the myth. Be a business person first who happens to be in the business of selling real estate. You get the difference? Do you show up as a real estate agent or do you show up as a business owner who happens to be in the business of real estate? It could be different. So in that book, if you took real estate out of the vocabulary in that book, it's the blueprint for building any successful, sustainable, profitable business, which we just defined was the purpose of a business, right, a few minutes ago. So if you are a Keller Williams agent and you haven't read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book by Gary Keller, what are you doing? Stop working so hard and work smart. That's your blueprint. In that book are your models and your systems. That book will help you go from E to P. So this applies to anything in life. If you're looking to lose weight, you can't rely on just doing what comes natural to you, because I don't know about you, but I will tell myself that chocolate chip cookie will be just fine.
It's natural.
And I'll chase it down with a little red wine. We have to be more purposeful. We need systems and models to follow, whatever the goal is. So as we put those things into action, we create the breakthrough, we move past that ceiling of achievement, we open up the floodgates, and we start getting into an increased level of production. We move away from doing what comes naturally to doing what is more purposeful, which is a little unnatural, a little uncomfortable at first, right? But then we see results. Now, what do you think happens after a little while of doing all that?
Look at it, so.
Yes, thank you, get a gold star. You get a new ceiling because all those things become natural now. You've just, so think about it, and please don't let this make you sad. Just embrace it and get excited. It's exactly the analogy I use with martial arts. What's the first belt you get when you get started?
White.
White, and then you move to, I think, yellow, right? And then you move to green or something, and you keep moving up, right? So that's how you gotta look at this. You gotta look at it as, I'm just getting to the next level, I'm getting to the next level, I'm getting to the next level. So when you understand this and embrace it, good, we got people reading the book, I love it. When you embrace this E to P model, you'll also know sooner when you're hitting your head, because the reason for the yo-yoing is you don't want to believe you hit your head on something. You're like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna pick myself up and go again, right? But as soon as you hit your head on a ceiling of achievement, you know it because things are not coming as easy to you. You're letting things fall between the cracks. You're seeing backwards motion instead of forward motion, right? You'll know when you're hitting the ceiling. And so that means you have to apply things in a different, more purposeful way, right? It might be reading a book, but it might be a different kind of book, right? You're gonna always that's why the personal growth plan is so important, because that's your blueprint for upping your game. A lot of stuff coming at you this morning. How are we doing? Good. Questions, thoughts, ahas, anything, feedback?
Timing.
Perfect, it's always perfect timing. This stuff always, I don't care what month of the year it is, it's always perfect timing, because you know, you pick out what you need to hear at that moment. And you know, the other thing about E to P, so many of you may be coming into this business while you're still working another job, or you just came off of a different career, right? And you're starting this real estate business. So you have to understand this E to P works in that sense too. Because you may have a lot of transferable skills that are going to help you, but don't just think because you were a top producer in one industry that you're automatically going to slide in here and be at the top of the charts here too. Some of those skills will transfer and help you, but it's your natural ability. Like you did whatever you did long enough that it becomes natural. So you still have to up your game and get more purposeful here in real estate. Does that make sense? Or team leader role, like whatever it is, right? That's the truth.
You have to always be open to learn. Yeah.
And what you have to be willing to learn. And what's the value of breaking through this ceiling?
So
You reach new heights.
you're not staying stagnant.
Yeah, you're not staying the same or stagnant, you're reaching new heights, but you're really living a larger life.
Mhm, mhm,
I want you to all embrace that, because it's not just career growth.
mhm.
Yes, growth, Larry, you're living a larger life in general. You're acting bolder, you're thinking bigger. If you can set big goals and achieve them in real estate, you will set big goals and achieve them in other things. Like it starts to trickle into your entire world. Did you get that? You walk different, you look different.
Sometimes
So-
that's an indicator for me that I'm approaching a ceiling, is that when I have the ability to do things or that I didn't have before. So whether that's financially or, I don't know, like I never thought I would read as many books this year as I read, you know what I mean? So to me, that's always an indicator and helps me to identify if I'm gonna be hitting a ceiling soon, because I'm achieving those goals and I'm gonna be looking to get to the next level, so.
100%. Great. All right, Aaron, let's go to the next slide. We're going to talk about this one pretty quickly because we did spend a lot of time on this already. Make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. So again, just knowing that it is about learning and growing, about taking in new concepts and ideas, especially who you're learning it from. making sure that that is what is fueling your productivity, that you're not just learning for learning's sake, but using it to grow. All right, Erin. I am neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very, very curious. I love that. Yeah, let curiosity be the fuel, right? Because then you'll seek out new things. All right, Erin, we'll go to the next slide. So the fifth perspective is remove your limiting beliefs. Okay, huge. We already said that mindset is everything. When your beliefs are, so let me just give this to you in a little bit of a paraphrase. Our beliefs are the rules we live by, right? What you believe to be true, that become, if you guys need to slide the door shut, feel free. But your beliefs become the rules you live by. And when your beliefs and shape your thoughts, basically, right? But so if I believe that I am only lucky when I sit on this side of the room, what am I gonna think the moment I get to the door, when I get here? I gotta sit over here, right? It shapes everything I think, and everything I think shapes everything I do, say, and do. So if I believe I'm only lucky when I sit on the left side of the room, then I'm gonna start thinking about that from the moment I get out of the car. I gotta find the left side of the room. I hope there's a seat. I'm gonna make somebody move if there's not a seat, because I'm only lucky on the left side. It's everything I think. I come in the room like, excuse me, can you move? Could you go over there? Because this is my lucky side. Do you get it? Your beliefs shape everything. They're the rules you live by. That's a silly, crazy example, but that's how it works. So whatever you believe to be true is shaping what you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're doing. What you're doing is how you get results. So your results can be traced right back to what you're thinking, what you're believing. So your beliefs are always there. The question is it limiting you or unlimiting you? An unlimiting belief says, I may not have all the answers, but I can do anything. I just got to figure it out. A limiting mindset is, I don't have enough time for training. I can't be successful in this market. I'm new in this business. I can't devote 3 hours a day to lead gen, all of the reasons. So write this down. I can have reasons or I can have results.
I wrote it down, word behind you.
Nice.
Oh, look at that.
There's a million reasons why you won't be successful. There are. Don't attach yourself to any of them. We want to create unlimited beliefs and unlimited thinking. So that's why this is so important and why it's the fifth perspective, because high achievers know that limited thinking or limited beliefs will hold us back. And by removing them, we can get to the next level. So a limiting belief is a thought or a mindset that does exactly what it sounds like. It limits you. It puts you in a box. It keeps you in that box and tells you a bunch of lies. Now, I want to normalize this too. As human beings, we all have limiting beliefs. The question is, how long do you allow them to attach themselves to you? Are you able to recognize the limiting belief and cancel it out, or do you allow it to take root in your head somewhere? Because once that limiting thought gets in here, it's going to take a little effort to work through it and get rid of it. So in order for you to be, I think in order for you to successfully develop a higher level of achievement, you have to be clear about your mindset. What is the story you're telling yourself in your head on any given day? What limiting beliefs do you have right now that you need to remove? So in your participant guide, you have a reframe limiting beliefs activity, I believe. And so that exercise will help you reframe some thoughts. And that's really what it takes. It's for you. So in other words, if one of your limiting beliefs is I don't have enough time for training, the way you would reframe that is I have to make training a priority to help me accomplish my goals. Do you have to go to every training class that's out there? No. You have to get good at understanding what is going to match your goals and discern, what needs to be a part of your time. Okay. If you have more questions about removing limiting thoughts, come and see me. That's something I'd be happy to help you with too. But we're gonna go to the next slide. Number 6, so we mentioned this before, this is the 6th and last perspective, and it's about being accountable. So I'm just gonna ask to you guys, the group, what does being accountable mean to you?
Being willing to be coached.
Yes, could be willing to be coached, yep. But it goes deeper than that.
Awareness,
Okay, awareness, yep.
owning it.
Yeah, accountability is definitely owning it. Do what you say, own it, yes, absolutely, Larry, yep. So the first thing I want you to understand about accountability, it's an attitude, number 1. And after attitude, it's an approach. Okay, accountability starts with your attitude. And then the second thing is how you approach it. And I want you to understand how to put that together into a statement. And here is the statement. This is your attitude and approach all in one statement. Everything I am experiencing in my life right now, everything I am experiencing in my life right now is a result of my choices. Everything I am experiencing in my life right now is a result of my choices and my actions. I own my life. No one else owns your life. If there's something in your world right now that you don't like, stop tolerating it and do something about it. And the answer may not be to just throw it away, it may be to work on it, fix it, improve it, right? See, if you embodied or appreciated any of these perspectives and you're not willing to then be accountable, you're gonna waste your time. Does that make sense? Because you need to look at this slide and understand the difference when you allow reality to show up. That's what being accountable is. It's allowing reality to show up. Because the opposite of this is being a victim. The victim mindset is not seeking reality. It prefers to be stuck in ignorance, regardless of what the individual might say. But if their actions keep them stuck in ignorance is bliss kind of place, if they're not willing to hear what the reality of a situation could be, if they're not willing to get coaching or consulting, then they're not seeking reality through an awareness and asking what is the situation. They're just being a victim. The person who's a victim fights the reality and says, well, that's not the way it is. You don't understand. Well, that's not true for me. That won't work for me. Well, that's just your perception. That's what, that kind of thing. Where someone who is really seeking accountability and reality is asking questions to gain clarity. They're telling us that they've got it. I see what's going on. I have to do something about it, right? The other left side, they're in blaming. It's not my fault. It's the market. It's my father. It's my husband. It's my mother, my sister, my dog. It's everybody else, not me. Right? Why don't they change something? If it wasn't for the interest rates, I would fill in the blank, right? All that stuff, all the nonsense. But someone who's accountable is owning it and they're putting energy and focus where it belongs. They're saying things like, if it's to be, it's up to me. They understand that the market does not dictate your success. Write this down. The market does not dictate my success. The only thing the market is good for is to show me how to do it. Does that make sense? You can be successful regardless of what the economy is doing, regardless of what interest rates are doing, regardless of the inventory. If you ask the right questions and you attract the right people, everyone is looking to buy or sell real estate at some point in their lives. You just have to find the people who want to buy, sell, or invest in it today. Does that make sense? Say yes.
Yes.
Everybody in their life needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate at some point in their life, sometimes at multiple points in their life. You just need to find the one who's ready to do it today. I need that to sink in.
I'm motivated.
Find the motivated for today, not the motivated last year. Today, who needs to buy something or sell something or invest in something today? Maybe it's gonna be a different conversation, maybe it's a different kind of lead gen, but that's what we need to look at. And if you are owning it, if you are accountable to yourself and your business, you're gonna find a way. Is this sinking in? So again, all those other perspectives, if you're not willing to be accountable. Anybody have questions? Really preachy today, wow. All right, Erin, let's go to the next one. Okay, Happiness is Not an Individual Sport by Sean Aker. So we just did this book club not that long ago. The Happiness Advantage is another great book. I've given you 3 or 4 books today that could go on your personal growth plan, starting right now. Don't wait till January to make your personal growth plan. Start it right now. And you should start with what? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Okay. So Sean Aker wrote this book, The Happiness Advantage, and basically what he helps us understand, which is everything that positive psychology is about, is that happiness is an inside job. If you're waiting for something or someone to make you happy, you will spend a lot of time looking for something that you already have the ability to use, because happiness starts from within. So no one succeeds alone. We know that to be true too. But we also know that we have to find our inspiration from within. Let's go to the next slide, Erin. Okay, so let's pause here quickly before we wrap up the rest of the content. What ahas do you have from the 6 personal perspectives? That was a lot to go through. What was your, maybe there was one perspective that really resonated with you more right now because of where you are in your life, Jacqueline?
I think for me today, the be accountable one really hit home because I'm definitely, I feel like I'm a coachable person, and things like that, but there's been a lot of transition in my work world over the past year, honestly, and I just feel like what I had to kind of remember that I've kind of been hitting on, honestly, these past 2 weeks, but this really sent it home for me, is that when somebody comes to you and is talking to you about, they are holding you accountable, we're all so quick to jump at what they're saying because we want to get defensive and we want to defend ourselves and why we're doing things. And it comes down to just like you're talking about, owning it and realizing what they're saying has value. And for me, it's taking a moment to clear my head and remind myself that regardless of anything else, it comes down to me and the decisions that I make. So coming to terms with that first, and now clearing my head so that I can take the things that they're saying to me and evaluate what they're saying and how I can change what I've been doing.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share an aha?
The E to P approach, that my natural abilities are not enough. And you can hit the ceiling, and when you hit that ceiling, basically I guess the self-talk, like don't get into your head thinking to give up, but find a way or a solution to surpass that ceiling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
EDP is big for me too.
EDP was big for you?
You need a coach.
Yeah.
And that's the period in the story. Like you can know, like I've sold cars
I
for
have
years.
several.
And the second I got here, I got a coach, because I've been in other brokerages where you're not getting a coach.
Mhm.
You're also only getting 50, but you're not getting a coach.
True
Because I don't know what they're spending that 50 on.
True story.
But you need it.
Yes.
It's an absolute necessity, because what you study for your license has nothing to do with what we're doing today.
So true.
And if you don't have someone to kind of put it into focus and kind of get rid of the notes, there's lots of stuff to know, to do, and to think about, but you have to push all of that aside and just know this is what you need to do, 1, 2, and 3. If you can get these 3 tasks done at a high level today, you will see a lot of success. And then it compounds. I'll add another book to your list,
Okay.
the compound effect.
Oh, yeah.
It adds up, and then one day it's all gonna just spill into your lap. But oh, that's how she made 5 closings in a month.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. It builds up to that.
The compound effect, Darren Hardy is the founder of Success Magazine. Or I don't think he's the founder, just the longest editor of Success Magazine, but he wrote the book. And basically, in a nutshell is how doing things consistently, like just dripping away, like the bucket outside, right? Like at one point, it's just a drop in a bucket, but if that bucket stays there and the drops keep hitting, you have a full bucket, that's the compound effect.
That 1% more every day.
And how we, compound interest, the greatest invention to mankind, right? That same concept.
You have a lot of ahas in the chat.
Okay, what are some ahas in the chat?
Let's see, we have what are my dollar producing activities? And the less you
Yeah.
focus on, the more you will accomplish. That's from Rob. Erica says, who do I need to become to hit my goals? It's a very good point to think about. Larry, recognizing when you're stuck in your E, learning how to break through to P to keep your focus narrow. Wendy says, overcoming those limiting beliefs, they can be so ingrained over years, but you need to open up yourself and push those to the side. And Shaya says, I can have reasons or I can have results.
Oh, awesome. I love it, you guys. You guys are on it. All right, Erin, let's go to the next slide. Yep. Again. Okay, so just so you know that those other slides refer to our culture. And I just want to make sure we end on time and basically understanding that there are a lot of things you can plug into here at Keller Williams in terms of our culture that is important to you, like our fundraising and our different committees. But I want to spend a couple minutes on this. This is our MVVBP, which stands for Mission, Vision, Values, Beliefs, Perspectives, right? So we're going to go through the MVVBPs at Keller Williams. But I will say that, this could be a great call to action for you. What are your personal mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives as a business owner today, right? So let's go to the next slide, Erin. So our mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Does that not make you feel good about being in this company? Yeah. So again, I love to point this out as often as possible. Do you keep this in front of you? Like you're a part of KW, you're part of the culture, whether you realize it or not. You chose this company for many reasons. Do you align with their mission? Does this mission speak to you? Do you have it in front of you? This could be an opportunity from this class to say, you know what? I'm gonna print this out. I'm gonna put this in front of where I work most often. I'm gonna have it on as a screensaver, whatever you want to do. But if you could look at that every day, do you want that to inspire you? What does it mean for you? And this could be a journal exercise. What does it mean for you to have a career worth having? If we were coaching, if I was your coach today and we got on this conversation, I would probably say something like, Christina, what does having a career worth having look like to you? What does having a business worth owning mean to you? What does living a life worth living mean to you? What is an experience worth giving and legacies worth leaving? Like for you to not just embody this because it sounds like you're in alignment, but to really embody it and ask yourself, what does it mean for you? So I wish we had more time today to I would love to hear from all of you about what that, what you would say, but I would definitely spend some time on this, because I think that, again, successful people, high achievers, this is another part of getting into that mindset, right? Like they put definition to their activities because it's in alignment with their values. All right, let's go on to the next slide. So what we have here now, we talked a little bit about beliefs. This is, and it's right here on this wall in this training room. This is our Y4C2Ts. That's how you say that, Y4C2Ts. This is our belief system. So we've got, I'm gonna just ask Danielle, what's the first one?
Win, win or no deal.
Christina,
Integrity, do the right thing.
who's in the room with me? Tell me.
Danielle.
Danielle, how do I not get that? Go ahead, Danielle.
The customer always comes first.
Great. Jacqueline,
Commitment in all things.
Communication, seek first to understand.
and what is your first name?
Zakia.
Zakia, oh, I've heard about you, Zakia, okay, I'm putting name to a face now. And
Kiara,
Kiara, I know Kiara, what's the next one?
creativity, ideas before results.
Okay, Aaron, in the chat, who we have over there?
We have, let's see, who wants to
Somebody
share?
Yell it out,
I'll do teamwork. Teamwork, together, everyone achieves more.
love it.
Trust starts with honesty.
Yes,
Equity, opportunities
Equity,
for all.
opportunities for all.
and the last one, success results through people. So these are the concepts that make up our belief system. And, you know, I think that again, do we pay enough attention to this? Are we looking at these as something that we want to really put through in our day-to-day activities as well? Erin, let's go on to the next slide. So we talked about culture. Here are some ways that our culture shows up. Every year we do Red Day. It's where we encourage our associates to take a day off from work, basically, and give back to the community. Many times we have an organized effort through the market centers. Sometimes people do their own projects, but that separates us from a lot of our other, competition. We have KW Care. It's a 501(c)(3) that was started by KW associates to take care of each other. And you can donate to KW Cares. And if anyone ever has a hardship, there's, grants and funding available to support our associates. And then KW Kids Can is where we have now devoted time and energy and programming to help young adults unlock their greatest potential, which I love. Next slide. We're going to skip that and go to the next slide, I think. All right, so we've talked about the culture and Erin, just go back one more time for me. Yeah, so we talked about, changing our mindset. We talked a little bit about culture, talked about some resources. I think we're going to get more into this value concepts. Let's go on to the next one. So here's where we're going to look at the KW value proposition, right? And an achievement equals value. Can you write that down? That's another reason why you want to be purposeful about being a master of yourself. You want to bring value to what you do. Your value increases with your achievements. Do you get that? Because you have more knowledge, more experience, right? So we can't ignore the fact that your value will grow as you accomplish things. So do you believe that this company offers you more value because of some of its accomplishments? Right? So to put that in perspective for you and your business, I'm not saying that you have to be number one in everything, although why not? That's okay, right? But it's not a bad thing. But is it about really getting up and being better than you were yesterday? And is it about getting up every day and being someone who's growing in knowledge, growing in skill set? Even when you have something that doesn't go well, you learn from it, right? So that you then bring more value to your clients. So achievement does equal value. Okay, Erin, let's go to the next slide. So how do you gain more value? How do you achieve more? We've talked about training as one way. So here are some things that I just want to make sure you're aware of. This should all look very familiar to you, hopefully, and at least because you're in this class, if you printed out the material, you had to go in here. But there is so much available to you in this company. And, sometimes we hear things like, yeah, there's so much, it's like drinking from a fire hose. It's too much, that can also become a limiting belief too. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff available, but it's not a negative thing. And you got to get out of overwhelm and just jump into it, okay?
You don't need it all at the same time.
You don't need it all at the same
But when you
time.
need it, it's there.
Right.
Make a plan.
Make a plan. So what are the goals that you have? What are the areas that you think you need to improve in to hit those goals? get focused on then jumping in and figuring out where you can find some of these resources, right? So we talked about some books today. I just want to point you back to your online platform where at KWU, you have courses, you can download a lot of this material. You can be self-directed. I mean, I hope it's a better experience when you have an instructor. I hope I brought a different dimension today, but could you have printed this out and read the material and got a good bulk of this in today? Yeah, right, so allow yourself to spend some time, and this is where we get purposeful, right, going from E to P. How much time do you have on your calendar every day for self-growth? Or does it happen by accident?
Now by accident.
So high achievers plan their self-growth. They schedule it. And build a routine around it. 90% of the time when I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm listening to a podcast or a Bible study, either one. If I'm gonna sit there and, do my thing, get dressed, put my makeup on or whatever, I might as well be productive, right, and get something in. But I also schedule conferences, I schedule ahead of time. I look for places I want to spend my time. So think about what you have available here to you in KWU, the different classes, the different material, command training, but also these events, family reunion, mega camp, local training. I think it's important for you to really get this on your growth plan because again, it ties back to the 6 personal perspectives. Okay, Erin. So another value you have here is the technology. I have to say, if you try to reinvent this wheel, you will spend a lot of time and money and have 17 different platforms to use. This company, believe me, because I've been here over 10 years now and I've seen the changes in our tech. We have gotten to a point now where we took the best concepts that were out there in different places and brought it into one login, and that's Command. So this is a smart way to do business because it's integrated, which means that it fits into every aspect of your business. It's an end-to-end platform, meaning you never have to log off into something else. It'll give you the ability to manage your business, to manage your transactions. It'll host your clients, your database. You'll do your marketing from here. You can access training from here. It's everything in one place. This is worth millions of dollars. If you were starting any other business and you had to create a system or systems for managing your transactions, managing your clients, managing your client history, managing your marketing, managing where you store information, or looking at where to get, industry related information to be more strategic and smart in your business, right? You'd be spending a lot of time and money in all these different places. You have such an advantage as an entrepreneur partnered with KW. If you're not utilizing this at a high level, maybe because you don't understand it all, you haven't made the time, whatever the story is, it's okay. Stop right now and figure out how you can get some help. You can start with your agent services coordinator, or you can reach out to Eileen Angel, which Erin can put Eileen's either her email, her Calendly, or whatever in the chat. And she is our tech coordinator. She's our director of technology, and she can help you as well. But there's also tons of resources right here through Command and also through social media even. There's different Facebook groups you can join. We've got Nick Baldwin. Anybody on Nick Baldwin's social media page?
Mhm.
What's it called? Command Your Conversion?
Command, yep.
Yeah, Command Your Conversion. So there's plenty of places you can get help. And this is how you work smarter, not harder. Anything you want to add to that, Erin, on Command?
I think that definitely utilizing these services saves you time. Utilizing Command to help you with your automated marketing and using it to help you keep in touch with your database is just priceless. And if that's what you use it for, that's going to get you a return on investment right away, is the automated marketing to your clients.
Yeah, and we now have a command app, which is the next slide, which is again gonna put your command platform into your hands where you can get it from anywhere. The next one that you should have on your radar is the KW app. Oh my God, the value here. So this is your personally branded app. Again, Eileen or your ASC can help you with this. If you don't put this in the hands of everyone you talk to, you are doing a disservice to them and to you, because this is where they have a direct link to you. So this is a consumer-facing app. It's the counterpart to Command. Your contacts, when they download your app, they can search their neighborhood, they can search by neighborhood, zip code, school district, landmark. You can directly communicate with your clients and keep track of showings through this app. And you'll be the first to know when clients are starting or stopping a search. So anytime you have a conversation with someone about real estate, don't give a business card, okay? You're gonna say this, okay, do me a favor, grab your phone. I wanna share my app with you. Because not only will you be able to search for things, because even if someone's not interested in buying real estate right now, don't they love searching for real estate? 100%. So put your app in their phone and say, listen, you'll be able to search for stuff and, but when you need me, you'll be able to contact me right through the app. Because this will give you the ability to facilitate every part of the transaction. So you're going to learn more about this, I think, in the third session of Ignite, but I just wanted to point out the technology that you have available to you. The technology partnership we have even with DocuSign and other things really gives you a competitive edge. All right, so download your app and get that into the hands of everyone you know. Share the link to your app on social media. Like if you do one thing for lead gen and marketing this week, blitz your app. Make that your goal today. Who's gonna blitz their app? I wanna see it in the chat, I wanna see it in here. I'm gonna see it all over Facebook, Instagram, blitz your app. All right, Aaron, let's go to the next one. So sorry we didn't personalize this for you, but we just want to make sure you know who to go to in your market center. This information, Aaron, can be found on our personal website, right?
Yep, on kwhvgroup.com, it lists everything as far as all your leadership team members, their contact information, your ALC members and their contact information, kwhvgroup.com.
kwhvgroup.com. All right, let's go to the next slide. So I want to talk a little bit about another topic that just inspires me and gets me excited, and that's profit share. That's another huge value proposition that you have as being a part of Keller Williams. And honestly, this is unheard of in a lot of industries, right? Where the owner of the company agrees to share profit with you. And the definition of passive income is income you receive for doing very little, right? Passive. So when you think about the income that you're looking to earn in your real estate business, if you're not putting your time and energy into your real estate business and focusing on the right activities, will you see money coming back out of it? Not really, right? So here's the thing about profit share. If you could have a conversation with someone once and get them curious enough to want to meet with a leader at Keller Williams, wherever we have offices in the country, really the world, that would be a little different though, but let's just say the country, because that's profit share. When you refer people to Keller Williams internationally, that's called growth share. It's a little different. But there's no financial risk on your part. No one's asking you to invest any money. There's no legal risk. You don't have to do a lot to get into profit share. You don't have to buy anything or sell anything. You just have to probably, be someone that others see energetically as someone who is reaping the benefits of being in this company, right? And if you could put this on your radar, if you could help other people connect with the value that's here at KW, you will be rewarded financially for that. Because when that agent closes business, you will receive a portion of the owner's profit that agent created. Has nothing to do with the agent's commission, has nothing to do with how active you are. there are people in Keller Williams who have just walked away from being a realtor basically, and all they do is focus on recruiting agents and making money through profit share. Aaron Kaufman is a perfect example. He now tours the country teaching profit share, and he's probably earning about $175,000 to $200,000 a year on his profit share alone. We have $1 million earners of profit share. But here's the thing. If you could earn an extra $300 a month, what would you do with it right now?
My business.
Okay, invest in your business. What if you could earn an extra $700 a month right now? Maybe some of you would drive a different car. I don't know. Maybe you would start putting money in a vacation fund, right? What if you could earn an extra $1,000 a month? What if you were earning, like some of us in this office even are earning $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month in profit share? What would you then do? Could be buying a house, could be investing in other businesses, right? So this is what I want to encourage you to really start to get on your radar. So as a result of this class, I want you to make it a point with your team leader, right? So we've got Zoe Breeze in the Middletown office. We've got Rita Gildersleeve up in Kingston. We've got Jessica Mileto up in Oneonta. And if any of you are in our New City Market Center, you can talk to me, Anna Gibbs. And if you need to learn more about profit share, let's start with that conversation. The other thing I want you to put on your calendar is October 6th. We're going to have a profit share summit in every market center, where we're going to plug into something happening live on a national level in our company. And you're going to learn from Linda McKissick, who is the first person to break $1 million a year in profit share. She and her husband, Jim, have earned over $1 million a year in profit share for the last, I think, 15 years. She was in the company for 10 years before she brought her first person to this company. She didn't understand it. She didn't believe in it. She said she didn't have time for it. And then something changed in a class, and she's going to show you how she got into what her system is. Gary Keller is going to talk to us. This company has profit shared well over $1 billion in its history. Why shouldn't you get a piece of it? There's no scams. There's nothing weird about it. How many of you have ever recommended your favorite restaurant to someone? And I bet half the time you went on and on about the ambiance, the wine list, the chef, the dessert, whatever, right? That's how you earn profit share. It's that kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to talk more about that. Erin, what's the next slide, honey? Who has ahas on that so far? All right, I know we're going rapid fire, so we're going to land the plane and we're going to take this home now. So a couple of other resources for you that you may or may not be familiar with: Keller Mortgage, Keller Managed, Keller Covered, Keller Offers. These are just some ancillary businesses that are available to you and your clients. I will also make sure that you know that here within the Keller Williams Hudson Valley and Upstate Group, we have Assure Abstract as a title company that we've started. I want to encourage you to use our title company and make sure that you understand that it's not our title company, I shouldn't say that. It is a company that was started, here in our grassroots, and some of our agents are investor partners in it. But the reason why you want to look at Assure Abstract is that we understand the nature of the transaction like no one else really does. So you are part of the communication loop like you really are not in other title companies, and we see that we can get things done very quickly. So we want to encourage that. We are going to be launching an insurance company soon, very soon. Property, auto, home, casualty, all of that. So, that's another opportunity, because we want to give you a little bit more control on the transaction. So when you have the ability to refer your clients to all these resources, that brings value, right? So the clients, that's what we're talking about, is how do you show up and bring value? All right, Erin, next slide. Another way that you can bring immense value to your customers, to your clients, is to be a part of one of these KW communities. So there are many of them listed here. You can get information about them through KW Connect. I believe also even through kw.com, there's a link for all of these there. Are some of you involved in any of these? I know Christina is the president of the Young Professionals for the Hudson Valley chapter.
But she's
So-
also what the,
I'm also the regional ambassador for the tri-state.
So Christina Gibbs is also the regional ambassador for KW Young Professionals. So if you would like more information about that, I'm too old, but we won't talk about that.
I have connections to all of these segments, so if anybody's interested, please reach out to me.
That's great.
Erin, if you want to put my information in the chat, you absolutely can. I don't
That's
know if she
awesome.
can hear me.
She can hear you. So, you know, this is another way that you can bring value because you're networking with other people in these specialties. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. I'm sorry, I didn't realize we ran over, so I'm going to try to wrap this up for you pretty quickly. We'll go on. Oh, this is such a great exercise, and I'm sorry that we're going to go through this very quickly, but you know, this is about creating vision and creating a picture of who you want to be in the future. So I would love for you to work on this on your own. But, you know, again, if we were able to create a picture of where you want to be a year from now, and your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of, and your customers are just raving about you and the value you bring, and people are proud and successful of you, and you're helping others achieve their dream of owning a home and building this foundation for an exciting, successful career. You're being recognized as a top agent in the market center, maybe being chosen for the ALC. You're a rookie of the year if you're brand new, right? You're just on this path to achieving greatness, right? I mean, what does that mean to you when this can become more than just an exercise and you're living it out? It starts with this class today, literally. There are several things that you heard today that can put your steps in motion and in order for you to live this vision of your life. And you know what's so exciting about getting there? You get to create another vision that gets bigger and gets more exciting. All right, Erin, let's go to the next slide. So again, it's about creating a big life and expanding your thinking, you know, and this exercise that's here can start today. Again, what is your income goal? Right, that's what's in the center there. What is your income goal? And what starts to happen in your life because of it? So this is basically mind mapping. And in this activity, if everyone took out a blank piece of paper right now, I want you to think about what is your income goal from now to 12 months from now. And draw that in the middle of your paper. And divide it up. Figure out how you're going to spend that goal. And what I hope starts to happen is you realize your goals should be bigger, right? Because whatever those goals and dreams are, maybe it's buying a house, maybe it's paying off my mother's house, maybe it's taking my kids to Disney, maybe it's putting a certain amount of money in a college fund, paying off my credit cards, paying off whatever debt I have, right? If you could spend a few minutes on this and understand that you're creating vision around your future income, from here, we could create a business plan. See, a lot of people approach the business plan without doing an exercise like this. Like, how do you want your money to work for you? What do you want that money to do for you? What are the life-changing things that money can accomplish for you? Do this exercise first. Give yourself permission to cross out the amount and make it bigger, I hope. And then do your business plan. Then figure out, okay, how many listings do I need to take? How many buyers do I need to sit down with? How many closed transactions do I need to have, right? And come to the business plan classes that are going to be happening in your offices so that we can put this all together and you actually create your big life. That's what this represents. your big life? Because again, the only thing that's gonna hold you back is you. We want to look for ways to break through that limited thinking and remove any barriers that you might have. Because at KW, we really believe in thinking big, and we never want to limit ourselves, because you can have an incredible life on so many levels if you just shift the way you think. Right? So what stirs your soul? As we close this today, I think all of this is going to be wrapped up into what is your big why? What stirs your soul? What gets you really excited? Think beyond your business. What drives you? Is it money? What's the money for? Is it freedom? Is it to provide something more for your family than what your parents were able to do for you? Is it creating some kind of legacy for your children? Is it starting a charity? Is it changing the world somehow? Like, what is it? And there's pages in your participant guide to put notes in here. Like, what stirs your soul? What is the foundation of your big why? Because again, anyone can achieve the goals and do the activities set out in the course here at Ignite that you're going to go through over the next several weeks, but not everyone will. Some of you who are here today may decide to drop out of this whole class along the way. Because you're going to say that life got in the way, other things became more important, you don't have time to do this for 6 weeks. But some of you are going to stick with it the whole time, and you're going to grow because of it, and you're going to start building this dream life. And once you have a strong enough why, see, that's where most of you are getting into any kind of challenge. You know, your why is not big enough. You think it is, but it's not. It's got to be way beyond a certain income goal for the year or paying off. It's got to get like big and deep. So that may be the next thing that you have to work on is your big why. So another big part of this program, and so the next few pages in your participant guide, by the way, you're going to see relate to business planning. And we can just go to the next slide quickly. We'll go to the next slide. Well, here, stop here, sorry. So your business plan, we're going to look at your income when it comes in, how it applies to your business expenses, taxes, take home, all that. Okay, Erin. And then we're going to go through these exercises when we do business planning, but you can work on this now in your participant guide. You can start with whatever you want your net income goal to be for you, like what your take home is. And then we can figure in like your company dollar and royalty cap, which by the way, in most market centers, you know, it's $22,500 and $3,000 for your franchise fee. What are your business expenses, your GCI rate? Like we can figure all this out. And this is going to give you a perspective as to how many houses you need to sell. I mean, it's just that simple. So if you want to earn $100,000 a year, that's great, but you also have business expenses and you have other things you have to take into account, like your cost of sales, which is your company dollar and royalty and all that. So you probably need to generate a lot more, and not probably, you do need to generate a lot more than 100,000. So this is how we work backwards from there. And then now we figure out, well, what are the activities to get me there, right? So we'll go to the next slide, Erin. Next slide. I'll do that at the end. Next slide. So part of that is, what are these activities, right? So we're going to go through this during every Ignite. This is the daily success system. It's about tracking those conversations, contacts added to your database, how many handwritten notes you're writing. Yes, handwritten notes. Could you imagine that? You know, the world has definitely gone digital, but imagine if you were the agent who could get good at sending out some handwritten notes. And many of you have done it or doing it, and you get a lot of success from it, right? Because it sets you apart. So it could be, hey, thanks for taking my call today. It could be, congratulations, it's been 1 year since you moved into your house. It was such a pleasure to work with you last year, right? That kind of stuff, right? So writing notes every day, engaging in social media is a big part of this new Ignite platform, which I think is so great. And then looking at other activities like appointments, agreements, and closings. So these are the things that should be happening every day. So if your day is not that full, you're gonna have to look at this and say, okay, here is the game plan of a high achieving agent in real estate. It should change the way you go out there and show up in the world, because you want to have more conversations, you want to talk to people, you want to add them to your database, right? So it's understanding how activities correlate to the numbers that correlate to your income. Does that make sense? Okay, next slide, Erin. We have to make sure you're aware of the do not call list. Every day in class or before class, you might come for lead gen or power hours. So if you're making any calls or texts, we just want to make sure you're aware of the TCPA do not call list. You should subscribe to the registry and you should check before the call. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask your team leader about it, but that's something that we have to mention to you. Okay, Erin. So powerful conversations get results. We know that, and this is your daily success system right here, this slide. We want you to focus on lead generation every day. You want to just uncover motivation. So when you're talking to people, you have to ask the questions that will uncover the motivation, because that's what you said earlier, right, Danielle, that it's about finding the motivated, right? Identify objections. They're always going to be a reason. They're going to come up with something, right? And it's just an objection that you have to handle. So again, knowing scripts, knowing your market, knowing how to help people navigate information that is showing up today in their news feed is going to be how you identify and overcome those objections so that you can close the deal. And remember to always put the language in a term the customer can understand. And by showing up and being of value as a resource, you're going to build the confidence, right? So your language has to get purposeful. There's a great saying that we use around here at KW. Don't say blah, blah, blah when blah will do. Okay, learn how to be what we call succinct, clear, and to the point. All the information that you're getting, learn how to put it out there in a very simple term. Practice conversations, practice your scripts. Practice asking powerful questions. That's a way to, that's a part of self-mastery. Get good at that. Those are your tools. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about, and again, I'm sorry we ran over today. I got really passionate about these 6 personal perspectives. But did you find value in this? Was this worth your time?
Absolutely.
Thank you for staying with me if you're still here, obviously. The last thing I want to talk about a little bit, you heard the term sphere. So we're going to go to the next slide, Erin. This is the definition of sphere. It's the people you've met in some way, shape, or form. So your database should be a collection of all these people. Okay, so to really get successful in real estate and to prepare you for Ignite now for the rest of these weeks, there's gonna be a lot of attention put on your database and your sphere. I think whether you have an iPhone or an Android, you can do this. If you go into your contacts list, you should be able to scroll to the very bottom where the Z is. And it should tell you how many people are in your phone, right? So if you have 2,500 people in your phone and only 300 people in your database, there's something out of whack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to start making sure, you know, I want to put the awareness out to you that we have to get clear about our sphere. Anyone you have met, even once, could be in your database. Your aunt, your sister, your crazy cousin, it doesn't matter. They all should go in your database. And I know there's that people will say to me, oh, but you don't understand. You know, my crazy cousin Sally is never gonna buy from me. It doesn't matter. Because Sally needs to see you as a realtor, not just her family member. And if she's getting your emails, if she's getting your, text messages, whatever you're sending out, right, your marketing, your Facebook stuff, your Instagram stuff, then she's going to identify with you as a realtor in the business. And how do you know that Sally doesn't have a coworker who says something one day and she says, you should call my cousin? Don't get mad when they start using another realtor because you didn't do the marketing to make sure they were connected to you. Don't get upset when your aunt's mother buys a house in Massachusetts or Maine or New Hampshire or whatever she talked about, and you didn't say, well, I can help you with that. Because you can refer them to anyone in the company too, right? They need to know that when it comes to real estate anywhere in the country, you are their person. So we're gonna spend a lot more time on database. So that's where I want to end today. So now, as we wrap this up, number one, first of all, thank you. It was a pleasure to hang out with you. Again, I apologize we went over. I would love for you to put your evaluations in for me. So Erin, if you could put the website in, do you have it?
I do.
Okay, so if you could take a moment and put this in, and it'll bring up an evaluation form. I've embarked on the process to become a Keller Williams University approved trainer, which means I could travel the country teaching. And I need those evaluations, so be kind, please. But if you could put that, if you could take a moment and do that, I would love it. But I would love to also hear your ahas. What did you get out of our time this morning? Was this something that has changed your thinking in a way? What are you carrying out of this place? What are you carrying with you? Go ahead.
I think honestly, I had truthfully a lot of ahas today, but I just wanted to share something as a reminder that I think maybe somebody else could hear. For me, like even when I was going through Bold, I struggle with questions like my vision and my big why and different things like that. Like in Bold, it was there's a whole table of people sitting around you and they can see what you're writing and it's all these things. So I recently challenged myself to write all these things down regardless of anybody else's opinion and bring it to somebody I trust to read through it. Because I constantly have this feeling of, well, maybe I am dreaming too big or just the opinions of others when they shouldn't. So I challenge everybody to answer those questions honestly because they are game changers when you do.
I love what you just said, Jacqueline, and I would say this, if your goals are not making you want to throw up, they're not big enough, honestly. And when I have someone who says to me, you're gonna do that, I know I'm on the right track because you can't listen to people's opinions. So no dream is too big, honestly, ever. It's just whether or not you can go from zero to the dream in one shot, or you need to then chunk it down.
Absolutely.
That's all. So I mean, you could tell me that your goal is to make $1 million. I'm not going to tell you you're never going to make $1 million in real estate, but I'm going to ask you, are we doing that in 1 year? Or are we doing that in a couple of years? Like, let's figure it out. So we just have to break it down, but it's all about the activity. That's all. It's about what you put your time on. Who else has an aha they'd like to share? And that website, by the way, is kwueval.com, kwueval.com. And I am Anna Gibbs, and this is Ignite Section 1. So if you could please do me that great favor, I would appreciate it very much. Any other ahas?
The E to P,
E to P?
yeah. I wasn't here for the whole thing, but that was the most impactful.
I started taking some notes, so that
Oh,
means
yeah.
something to you.
You should see my notepad.
Yeah, we're all moving from E to P. Yes, any other ahas? I know we have some stuff in the chat.
Self-mastery and realizing it starts with you.
Yeah, what will you do to master yourself, right? What will you do to be a high achiever? We talked about, these principles as ways that high achievers think and act. So what will you do differently because of it? Love it. Erin, we have some things in the chat to share.
Yes, so Holly says that this helped her get back on track from the beginning of fall, and she's making her phone calls, and she will be back for the next class.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, you can start fresh today. Like, you don't need a new month, a new quarter, or a new year. Stop getting ready to get ready and just do it right now. Like, start right now and make something different today. I know we probably have more comments in the chat, but I want to let everyone get on to the rest of their day. Select instructor not, oh, okay, thank you.
That's me.
Yeah.
No,
thank you.
because so when you go into the eval, you're gonna select New York Tri-State as your region. And then when you get to the instructor name, the very bottom, it says instructor not in drop down, and then we'll give a spot to put your name.
I haven't earned the right to be there yet because I'm not a KWU approved trainer. So you just have to put my name in, Anna Gibbs.
You're on your way.
I'm on my way. Thank you, guys. All right, I appreciate you. I know that you got a lot out of today. Go out there and make something great happen. Come back for Ignite this week.